You know what's more terrifying than a horror movie? Seeing your student loan debt balance. Ah, student loans, the real boogeyman lurking in the shadows of our bank accounts. They're like that unwelcome house guest who overstays their welcome, eats all your food, and doesn't chip in for rent. I mean, let's face it, who among us hasn't had that moment of sheer panic when we open up our statement? It's like ripping off a band-aid. But instead of a tiny scratch, you're faced with a number that seems to be part of a complex mathematical equation. And let's not even get started on those interest rates. They're like the villain in a bad soap opera, always lurking and ready to pounce when you least expect it. But here's the kicker, we all signed up for this. We knew what we were getting into, right? But what if I told you there's a light at the end of this tunnel called student loan forgiveness? No, it's not a myth or a legend. Student loan forgiveness is real, and it's here to save the day. Now let's break it down. What exactly is student loan forgiveness? Well, in a nutshell, it's like a superhero for your wallet. It swoops in and cancels part or all of your federal student loan debt. Yes, you heard that right. It's that friend who picks up your tab when you're caught short. There are different types of student loan forgiveness programs, each with its own set of eligibility criteria. The public service loan forgiveness, for instance, is for those who have been working full-time for a government or not-for-profit organization. They'll forgive the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made 120 qualifying payments. So, if you're working for Uncle Sam or helping out in your local community, this could be your ticket to a debt-free life. Then there's the teacher loan forgiveness. This one's for the superheroes of the classroom, the teachers. If you've been teaching full-time for 5 complete and consecutive academic years in a low-income school or educational service agency, you could have up to $17,500 of your student loan forgiven. Now, isn't that a nice thank you note for shaping young minds? And let's not forget the income-driven repayment forgiveness. If you have a federal student loan and repay it based on your income, the balance will be forgiven after 20 or 25 years, depending on the plan. It's a long wait, but hey, it's like a surprise gift you forgot you were waiting for. These are just a few examples. There are more student loan forgiveness programs out there, each with its own set of rules. It's like a buffet of options, and you need to pick the one that suits your situation the best. So, who gets to wear this superhero cape called loan forgiveness? Let's find out. Scene script. Student loan forgiveness isn't a one-size-fits-all deal, it's more like a tailored suit. Now you might be thinking that student loan forgiveness is for those whose debt is as colossal as Mount Everest, but that's not necessarily the case. While it's true that those with massive debts stand to benefit significantly, the scope of student loan forgiveness is much broader. It's like a mosaic, made up of many different pieces, each with its own unique shape and color. Consider this. Student loan forgiveness is also highly beneficial for those in specific professions. Teachers, nurses, and those serving in the military, for instance, are often eligible for forgiveness programs. And it's not just because these folks are everyday heroes, though they certainly are. It's because these professions are critical to society, and yet often don't come with the hefty paychecks that can quickly eradicate student debt. Then, there are those who fall within certain income brackets. If you're earning less than a certain threshold, you may qualify for an income-driven repayment plan. With these plans, your monthly payments are based on your income and family size, and after a period of 20 to 25 years, any remaining loan balance is forgiven. It's like a long-term investment plan, but instead of getting a gold watch at the end, you get freedom from student debt. Finally, let's not forget about those living in certain locations. Some states and cities offer loan forgiveness programs as an incentive to attract professionals to areas where they're needed most. So if you're a doctor in a rural area or a teacher in a low-income school district, you might just hit the student loan forgiveness jackpot. So, you see, this isn't a superhero cape for everyone, but it might just be for you. Now that we know who can wear the cape, how do we actually get our hands on it? Well, let's dive right into the nitty-gritty of applying for student loan forgiveness. First things first, you'll need to complete and submit the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. This is your golden ticket into the world of student financial aid. It's a bit like filling out a tax return, so remember, honesty is the best policy. Now on to the second step. You'll need to enroll in an income-driven repayment plan. These plans adjust your monthly loan payment based on your income and family size. It's a bit like having a tailor-made suit, but for your wallet. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, it's time for the third step. You must make consistent payments. This is crucial. Think of it as watering a plant. It needs consistency, or else it withers away. The same goes for your eligibility. Now here's a tip. Keep a record of all your payments. It's like keeping a diary, but instead of teenage angst and unrequited crushes, it's filled with your financial decisions. Trust me, it'll come in handy. Moving on to the fourth step, you need to verify your employment. This is where your employer steps in. They need to fill out an employer certification form. It's like a report card, but instead of grades, it's proof of your employment. Now on to the final step. You need to apply for forgiveness. After making a certain number of payments, you can apply for forgiveness. It's like reaching the finish line of a marathon. You've worked hard, and now it's time to reap the rewards. Remember, every journey begins with a single step, and in this case, that step is applying for student loan forgiveness. Oh, and a quick note, these steps are not a one-and-done deal. They require diligence, patience, and persistence. But don't worry, you've got this. And voila, you're on your way to becoming debt-free. Just like any good movie, we've come to the end, but what have we learned? Well, we've had a bit of a roller coaster ride, haven't we? We've come to understand that student loans can be a bit like a horror movie. The suspense, the plot twists, the terrifying numbers that keep you up at night. But don't worry, we've also learned that student loan forgiveness can be the silver lining, the plot twist we've all been waiting for. Student loan forgiveness is not just a theory, it's a reality for many who have felt the weight of student loans bearing down on them. It's a lifeline, a beacon of hope that can turn the narrative of your personal horror movie into a heartwarming drama. We've delved into the nitty-gritty of who benefits from student loan forgiveness. We've learned that it's not just for the privileged few, but for those struggling with significant debt, for those in public service jobs, for teachers, for nurses, and many others. It's a helping hand reaching out to a wide array of individuals, offering them the possibility of a less debt-ridden future. We've also taken a journey into the how-to guide for student loan forgiveness, understanding that it's not a magic wand that can be waved to make all debt disappear. It's a process. A journey that requires patience, consistency, and a good understanding of the rules. But it's a journey that can potentially lead to a significant reduction or even complete elimination of student loan debt. Lastly, let's not forget the potential amount of help you could receive. It's not just a few dollars here and there, we're talking about potentially thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars of debt that could be wiped clean. Imagine the relief, the freedom, the possibilities. Remember, student loans might be a horror movie, but with student loan forgiveness, you might just get your happy ending. So don't shy away from exploring this possibility. It might just be the plot twist you need.